Hi guys, Claire here with my 7-month update. You may have noticed something. My hair is gone! I decided to get a pixie cut. It's something I wanted to do for the longest time, and I always kept saying, when I'm braver, I'll do it, or when I'm skinnier, I'll do it, and finally I was just like, the only person holding me back from this is myself. So I decided to change it up and chop my hair off. So far, I really like it. Definitely much easier to take care of. Before I did so, I actually had my hair relaxed because my hair is naturally curly. And after the relaxing process, looked fantastic. And I was like, wow, this is what it's like to have straight hair all the time. So that's when I decided to just go for it. So all my natural color, and I'm just looking forward to, keeping my hair healthy. And I really like this. So I think I'm actually in like the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm probably going to go get it trimmed up again because I actually really like the pixie cut. Okay, anyway, enough about my pixie cut. So 7 months. My update last month, or it was like a belated update last month, I had fallen off the wagon and I had put back on about 5 to 6 pounds because I had got to a weight, my typical weight where everything stops for a while. And I was so frustrated. I was just angry. And so I gave in to temptations and, I did it to myself. I was frustrated and I sought comfort in food once again because, like, as many of you know, if you've seen my other videos, I have an addiction to food and I have pretty much always had this. And so the point in me being so transparent with you guys is that I know it's not just me. And if it's not just me, then other women have to be dealing with the same issues. So I want to get that out there so that people understand, and they understand, and they come together and they realize it's not just them. You're not the only person in the world that struggles with this, and it's good to talk about it, and it's good to share your struggles with women who are like-minded. So that's what I'm trying to do with these videos. So I am now back down to that exact weight where I tend to just stop losing. It is so frustrating. And that weight for me is 131 pounds. I can't even get to 130. Oh, anyhow. So over the last few days, over the last probably a week, I was telling my husband, I've been making the right food choices. Now I keep my Trim Healthy Mama simple. I don't do a lot of the recipes from the book because honestly, I hate cooking. I mean, if there was ever a drive-through Sue, that's me. I'm not a good, and honestly, I'm not a good cook. I can follow a recipe to the T and it will still turn out badly. This is true. You can ask my entire family. It's very true. So when I cook for our family, I typically will cook a meat, and then we'll have like either a mixture of vegetables or we'll just have a central vegetable. And my children and my husband will eat rice because my husband and kids are Filipino. Obviously, I don't eat the rice. I cook a lot of our vegetables with butter. I do try to make shakes for myself every once in a while, and I just started putting okra in my shakes. And sometimes I'll make them for my husband too. And I have to say, it wasn't bad. It was no worse than me putting spinach in my shakes. And so it's frozen okra. So I enjoyed it. So when people ask me a lot about what I eat, it's very simple. I try to make this as easy for me and as basic as possible. And I really, honestly, I would love to say that I'm that mom that does a lot of food prep for the week. I ain't got time for that. Maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. But probably that. I'm probably just, I'm taking care of my kids, I've got stuff to do. So I like I said, I just try to make it as basic and easy as possible. In the morning when I wake up and my kids wake up, typically they either want oatmeal or they want cereal, which, thank God it's easy for them. And then, or sometimes if they're in a hangry mood, then they want, like an egg sandwich, egg and cheese and bacon sandwich, and that's fine. I will cook that for them too. In the mornings, I try to make myself a like buttered eggs, like 2 eggs fried in butter and a couple slices of bacon, and that will typically hold me over until it's time for a snack. And then, like a snack for me would be like my favorite deli meat out there, which you have to go to the deli counter to get because they slice it for you, is Lebanon beef bologna. It tastes so good because I really don't like regular bologna. I don't. There's we buy like lunch meats for our kids, like the deli sliced turkey, ham, whatever. Um, what is it? Like roast beef. And so I use those for my kids, make sandwiches and whatnot. But for me, I really like the Lebanon beef bologna. And if you haven't tried it, go to your deli counter, ask if they have it, and then just ask if they can cut you a sample, which most deli counters, they do that. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And so then I'll get I'll either put it on a low carb wrap with a little bit of mayo or mustard, and then I'll put on a piece of like Colby Jack cheese and I'll roll it up, and so that's a snack for me. And it really, really helps. I'll eat like some pepperoncinis too because I like those too. And it helps to tide me over to lunch. Lunches for me typically consist of leftovers from the previous night's meal. Now that my son is no longer with us, he went to basic training. He's an Air Force guy now. My first baby has left the nest. Yeah, so now that he's not here eating all the food, there's actually more leftovers, so that's good. But I still miss him. I'd rather him be here eating all our food than, about to leave and be a man and stuff. Okay, anyway, so like I said, lunches for me typically consist of leftovers from the previous night's meal. And then, I'll make normal meals. Like if I make spaghetti for our family, then I'll make regular spaghetti. And I have to be honest with you, I don't go out there and search for sugar-free spaghetti sauce. Like there's no Whole Foods here. There's no Trader Joe's. We have Walmart in the commissary, and that's it. So I don't stress out over the bit of sugar that is in regular spaghetti sauce. I do use Dreamfield's pasta, and I measure my portion out, and it's still enough to fill me up good. If I want to eat bread with it, which I typically do, then I'll cut off a slice of the Swiss bread. And what I have found that for me it's easier, because I was making the small loaves of the Swiss bread, but it was going bad before I could eat it all. So now I will make 2 of the small loaves and I'll freeze one, and then I'll cut the other loaf in half and I'll freeze half of it, and then I'll just cut off of that small portion, for the rest of the week. And then if I run out, then I'll grab the frozen loaf. So I do like to use some garlic spread on the Swiss bread, and it's just as good. And, I make my kids, I put toast in a toaster for them and just slather on the garlic spread too. So I'm still eating the same meal as my family there with that respect. I have tried cauli rice before, which is, shredding up the cauliflower and then cooking it and substituting it for rice. It tastes good, but I just wasn't, because I have been eating rice for so long with my family, I just wasn't a fan. So if I absolutely want rice, then I'll either have a properly portioned cup of brown rice, or I will make some quinoa for myself. And then, like I said, I will make, when you make a thing of quinoa or brown rice or whatever, you add a cup of it, and it makes several servings. So what I try to do, this is the extent of my meal prep here. So what I try to do is I'll take out, once I'm done making it, I'll pull out, you know, my serving that I'm gonna have with my meal. And then we're all done and I'm washing dishes, whatever. I'll take the rest of that serving, the rest of that rice or quinoa that's in the container, and then I'll portion it out into small little snack size Ziploc bags, and then I'll put them in the freezer. So that's really helpful for me because so I never get stuck where I want this, but I don't have it already prepared. So that's really helpful for me. Sometimes, oh, my favorite of all time breakfast is Jennifer Griffin's warm chia seed pudding. Mind blow. You need to go check her out at Jennifer. I forgot the name. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot it. Trim Healthy Mama Test Kitchen. Okay, I'll link it down below. I am so sorry, Jennifer. I'm having brain farts right now. So go check that out. I love her warm chia seed pudding. You can actually find it on Pinterest as well. So if you type it on Pinterest, warm chia seed pudding, it'll pop up there. And it's Jennifer Griffin's recipe. And I love it. And we don't have Lily's chocolate chips around here. And I know that if you're going to use chocolate chips, they prefer you to use Lily's. All we have is the sugar-free Hershey's chocolate chips here. And I'm going to tell you, I've been using them since the beginning, since day one. And I'm still losing. Yeah, so I just throw a couple of those in there, mix it all up, and it is so good. And my kids are like, Mom, can I have a bite? And I'm like, no, you cannot. Yeah, so there's that. So anyway, for this week, since I have finally gotten back down to that number again, 131, my husband and I were having a talk on the couch, and I was telling him, you know, I'm just frustrated because this is where I always seem to get, and then it stops. And I know I have more fat to lose. And believe me, I do. Like my lower half of my body here, I know what I look like naked, and I know what I look like in my jeans, and I still have a lot left to go. So one of my things that I hate the most, I hate exercise. I have never gotten an endorphin rush from exercise, and I have never finished a workout saying, man, I'm so glad I did that. Who does that? I don't know. I know people do, but not me. Ugh. So there's something that I've been doing this week. I think I've done it twice so far. I have one of those little red wagons that you can like fold up and then whatever, like when you're taking your kids like to a park or like I don't know. So we pulled out the little red wagon, and I have this strap that goes around my waist that's Velcro, and it's a really big thick strap, and it came with like some kind of exercise equipment that I was like, ew, I don't want that. So I have that strap that goes around my waist with the tight Velcro, and then I have one of those big long mommy carabiners that you can attach like grocery bags onto to help you carry them in. And so I attached the handle of my daughter's wagon to that big strap on the back. And so I have been basically putting my two younger daughters, into the wagon, and we go on long walks around our neighborhood, which is a long walk all around the loop is about like 2.5 miles. And it was so funny. The other day we were out walking, and all of a sudden we're being chased by this big red wasp. And I'm like, ah! So I started hauling off running, and the girls are holding on to the wagon going, whoa, go faster, mommy! And I'm running for dear life because this thing is going to kill me. So then I realized, hey, I can actually jog with this thing. Now, I don't mind jogging. I like jogging, but my problem is that I have had 4 children. And so when I jog, or when I sneeze, or when I laugh really hard, or when, you know, I just look at myself the wrong way, I pee a little bit. And, you know, I'm just being honest. Since I have lost weight, though, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Oh my gosh, I could tell you some really embarrassing stories, but I'm not gonna, because you probably have the same embarrassing stories yourself. So now I know that I can actually jog with this thing attached to me, because I was hauling butt. So a few days later, I attached it to my waist again, and I put the little clip on, and I made sure I was wearing a poise pad. And we started off on a walk to warm up, and then my thing was, on and the area around my where I live on Post is very sort of uphill and downhill. So I am not cool enough to be jogging my kids in the thing uphill yet. That's a walk part, and literally I'm like at an angle, like walking up the hills. And then when it comes to like the subtle down slope, that's when I jog. So I would like to end up eventually being able to like jog. We have a track here that we could go to, but I would like to end up being able to eventually jog with my kids attached to me. um, I have still been boxing. I do like boxing. We have an MMA boxing, an MMA bag in our garage, and I have MMA gloves. I have a jump rope. My husband has gloves as well, and he has been teaching me to box for about the last 6 months. And so I'm really enjoying that. I have noticed though that like the wobble under it's really not doing much for that. So I think I have to work more on my triceps and do tricep dips and stuff. Yeah. But so that's how exercise is going. Another thing that I needed to check myself on was that I wasn't drinking enough water. I wake up in the morning and I have coffee. And I was drinking a lot of Coke Zero. Ladies, I am here to tell you that I am free from Coke Zero. I actually, I didn't tell anyone that I was going to stop drinking soda because I'm a firm believer in don't tell other people your goals. Just tell them when you get there. So when I left Coke Zero, because the caffeine was starting to really bother me, I have a heart condition and I also I also have bipolar disorder and some generalized anxiety disorders as well. And I noticed that when I have lots of caffeine in my system, it exacerbates my system, and it exacerbates my illness, and it was causing me to have heart palpitations and flutters. So I decided to give up caffeine for Lent, and then it turned into, wow, I'm doing so well. And I had actually started drinking caffeine-free diet Dr. Pepper. So I was still drinking soda, and it just got to the point where I was like, I've given up caffeine. I've been drinking diet Dr. Pepper. And it actually happened that my husband was in the field, or he was out in the box for like a week. And because I have spending problems, I have issues with spending money on stupid stuff. And that's something else I struggle with too, and I'm dealing with. But so when he goes out to the box, before he goes out, we buy groceries together. And what we buy needs to last the whole time. And typically it does. And so he bought me a 24 pack of diet caffeine-free Dr. Pepper. And so I got to the point where I was halfway through and I realized that I had drank the entire 24 pack in half a week. Who does that? I did. So I knew I needed to drink more water. I know it's weird, but I don't like drinking water just out of like regular cups. For a while, I had one of my daughter's like little IKEA cups sitting right next to our water pitcher. So we have to filter our water here. And so whenever I would walk into the kitchen, I would pour a cup and drink it. And I had to make myself drink it before I left. And so that was working well for a while. And then it just got to the point where I was too busy. So now I have been a lover of hydro flasks for a long time. I've tried different water bottles, Contagios, Swell. Of course, we had Nalgene bottles. But I got to the point where my most used bottle was this 24-ounce hydro flask that I had. But my issue with that was like, I'm filling it up. This was before. I was filling it up all the time, and I'd take it out, when we went out, and then I was quickly going through it, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, so I wasn't drinking water. I wasn't carrying it around with me. So I realized, okay, Claire, you've got to get this under control. So we were at the Post Exchange, the PX here on Post, and they just started carrying more hydro flasks. Before, there was only like one or two that they carried. It was the 24-ounce and the 18-ounce, I believe. And I was like, that's ridiculous. That's like one gulp for me. They finally started carrying all of them. We've got they've got the growler, and then this is the 40-ounce, and my husband has a 32-ounce. And my three daughters here, my oldest daughter, who's 10, she has her own 24-ounce. And then my younger daughters, they share a 24-ounce flask, which is fine for them. So I decided, okay, Claire, you know you need to drink more water because I'm hitting that point again and I'm stuck again. I don't know what it is about 131, but it is killing me till I'm dead. So I'm like, okay, Claire, you got to change it up. So I got the 40-ounce Hydro Flask, and every morning I fill it up with cold. I don't like ice in my water because it hits my teeth, and then I'm like, ooh, I have very sensitive teeth. So when I filter our water, I put it in a big pitcher and I put it in the refrigerator. So I fill it up with super cold water in the morning, and my goal is to drink 1.5 of these a day. And I have been doing it. Actually, the other day I drank 2 of these because I was just that thirsty. And if you excuse me for just a moment, my mouth is getting weird because I'm thirsty again. So, so this has been a game changer for me to help me not only drink more water during the day, and then have the water to bring with me so I'm not out buying a drink for myself and my girls when we're out. And also I just ordered the sipper tops that makes it, yeah, the sipper top and the straw top to make it easier because my face and then the water, and sometimes it gets me. So if you're struggling with drinking more water, I would absolutely recommend for you, it doesn't have to be a Hydro Flask. Go out there and find a big water bottle that you like, that's pretty, because we all know that if something is pleasing to our eyes and pleasing to our senses, then we're going to want to use it more, right? So I found this pretty Caribbean blue Hydro Flask, and what do you know? I'm drinking my water. My husband's drinking more water too with his 32-ounce one, and my girls are drinking water all day too. I fill all of ours up in the morning, and so we as a family, we are all getting more hydrated together. I know I'm gonna have to start doing more working out. I just really don't want to, but since I just started doing the whole, belt and with the girls in the wagon thing, I think I'm gonna see how that goes for a while. And although I am still boxing, I'm gonna start working on my triceps more as well because I'd really like to get rid of this. So yeah, so here I am again, month 7 at 131. So once again, I've lost 20 pounds. 7 months and I've lost 20 pounds. I'm a turtle, and I still struggle with making the right food choices. And now I've heard a lot of you, now I read your comments. Every time someone leaves a comment, I read it. A lot of you have said, it makes you like sort of skeptical to try Trim Healthy Mama because you've read about me and I got to 131 and then I started eating regularly and I ballooned up again. Okay, listen, if you are in the situation, now I'm saying this to you, if you're watching this, I'm saying this to you with love, absolute love, because I've been there and I struggle too. If you are in the situation where you are deluding yourself to thinking, well, I'm the healthiest fat person I know. And oh my God, that was my line. Whenever I would go to the doctor's office, I was like, well, I eat really healthy. I eat really healthy. I was lying through my teeth. Whenever anyone would bring up to me, well, maybe you're just not eating the right things, that I was quick to come out with, well, I eat very healthy and da-da-da. No, I wasn't. If you are in the situation that you are in now and you are at a weight that you're not comfortable with, even if you have an illness, even if you have PCOS, I know hundreds of women on Trim Healthy Mama who have successfully lost weight even with PCOS. But it's about you making the choice to do it and sticking with it. Yes, it is going to be hard. You are probably going to have to give up some of your favorite foods. Nothing in this world that is worth doing and worth fighting for is easy. That's just the way it is. Now, if you are still if you're on this road with me as well, if you find that you are losing, but you're losing slowly, that's okay. Not all of us lose the same way. I lose in whooshes. Like I'll go a week and I'll lose like 4 pounds in a week. but then I'll stop for like a week to 2 weeks. And that is so freaking frustrating. Let me tell you. Ugh. But that's just how my body loses weight. So over these years of doing this program and coming to terms with just how my body works, I have learned that sugar for me, the smallest amount of sugar, increases my cravings for it. And I'll get to the point where I can't stop. I'll go crazy and I will binge. Binge eating is a huge problem of mine. I know that about myself and I've admitted that about myself. And so when you know and you admit it to not just to yourself, but you've got to admit it to God too. I mean, God already knows. Cry out to him. Tell him, God, I need your help here. I can't do this on my own. I just need your divine intervention. Now, God's not going to do all the work for you. He is going to give you that strength to say, you know what, you're right. Thank you for admitting it to me. Now let me help you. But you still have to make the right choices. You still have to do the right things for your body. So yeah, unfortunately, that's going to have to mean that you're going to have to slowly give up those sugary treats that you love. You're going to have to give up Funyuns. You're going to have to give up Mountain Dew. You're going to have to give up Little Debbie cakes. I know, I'm talking about the Little Debbie cakes. My favorite were the sweet rolls. Can I get an amen? But you got to give them up. They're not helping you. They're only hindering you. And I'm saying this with love because I would eat an entire box of Little Debbie cakes in one day. I would hide them and I would eat them all. I ate them all. And I would do this not just once, but all the time. I was hiding soda from my family. I was hiding snacks everywhere because number one, I didn't want anyone to see me eating them because that would make me feel guilty. And that momentary pleasure that I got from eating those things, that's what got me through to the next one. I wasn't taking pleasure in taking care of my body. And gosh, I was just so miserable. You have got to take responsibility for your choices because the only person that you are hurting by continuing to say, I can't do Trim Healthy Mama, it's just not right for me. I'm just going to have to learn to love myself the way I am. And I'm just going to, my body is not the problem, it's everyone else's. And I'm not going to get off on a tangent on, fat acceptance. But please understand that that video is coming soon. So, and once again, I will speak with love, but I also will speak with transparency and honesty. So if you are interested in that, watch out for it. If not, and you think it's going to offend you, then don't watch it, okay? I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I just want to be honest. And no, it's not going to be anything like Nicole Arbour's Dear Fat People. It's going to be the honest truth from a woman who was once morbidly obese and who has beaten obesity, but she still struggles. I still struggle with the same demons. And I honestly don't think there will ever be a point in time where I don't struggle with this. You may be very much like me. There may honestly be a point in time where never be a point in time where you don't struggle. It's about whether or not you love yourself enough to not give in. You gotta sort out what's important, what's the most important thing for you. So sorry, I kind of got off track there, but so I'm back down to 131. I'm going to be drinking a heck ton more water, doing the mule ride with my girls where I am the mule. I'm still boxing, which I'm really loving, and I'm going to start working on my triceps more. But yeah, so I've lost the weight, and it took me about 3.5 weeks to lose that 5 pounds that I had put on from just getting frustrated with myself and giving it up. See, like I said, I don't lose fast. It's when I was 225 pounds, it was coming off quickly. But now that I am where I am now, you got to understand that when you get closer to your goal weight, the weight's not just going to melt off anymore. You have to work harder for it. So I'm lazy, so I didn't want to work harder for it, but now I realize I just have to. If I want to push through this wall that I constantly hit, then I have to work harder for it. I can't give up. I can't say this is too hard. I'm just going to do what I want and eat what I want because I don't have the willpower to stop. I just don't. So, ladies, and maybe the few gentlemen that I do know that have watched my video as well, I hope that my being honest with you, I hope that has helped in some way. And I hope you know that every single comment you guys leave me, every time someone says something encouraging to me, it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good in my heart that that you guys are doing this along with me, that you're following my journey. And I really hope that I can encourage you ladies to take the take the step in the right direction. You may never get to be a size 4 or a size 6 or a size 2. I don't think we're all meant to be teeny tiny, but you can get to a point where you're healthy again. And healthy looks different for everybody. But you can get to a point where you are healthy and you are happy with your body again. It is so freeing and fabulous to not have back pain every day, to not have joint pain every day, to be to be regular. You know what that means? To be regular. To be able to walk into a store and purchase my clothing size, that feels so good. And when my girls wrap their arms around me and hug me, Lily the other day, God love her, she was giving me a hug and she's like, Mom, I can touch my elbows when I wrap my arms around you. She said, I remember when I couldn't even get my arms all the way around you. And so it almost made me cry because, even now my girls, they remember when I was, a size, I say size 22, but I was actually squeezing into a 22. I should have been in a size 24. So they remember when I was a 24 as opposed to now when I'm a size 6. Now remember, when I talk about my goal weight is more like 120, 118 because I am 5 feet. And I have a small, I don't have, there's no such thing as big bones. Your bones are the size that they are. You can have a larger body frame type or a smaller one or one that's in the middle. But I know personally that I have a petite frame, and I know that. I just have a lot of adipose left on it. And I literally, on my body, and this is no kidding, I don't have, I literally probably have about 25 to 30 more pounds of fat on my body that I could stand to lose. However, I don't want to be a stick figure. I don't want to give my girls this sort of teeny tiny stick mom, to look at. I don't want them to see that as the picture of health. So my goal is to lose another 15 to 20 pounds, and I will be happy with myself then. I mean, I'm happy with myself now, but I know I can do better, and I know I will feel better once I get there. So, as you know, I'm so sorry I do ramble. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it has encouraged you in some way. And I just thank you all so much for continuing to watch my videos. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I do a wide variety of videos, but Trim Healthy Mama is just something that's very near and dear to my heart. And so I vlog about that quite often as well. I try to do a monthly